All right, it's Tuesday, March 12th, just before 7 a.m. Just getting started here. I've got 4 charts ready to go. And I need to figure out which account I'm trading first today. So I've made my accounts more random on the wheel. Give it a spin. All right, evaluation 29 is going to be the first traded today. Morning, Gary. How are you today? All right, just trying to figure out what I got going on here. Looks like a pretty wild day so far. I'm good, just tired. Oh man, this time change. Losing an hour of sleep. It's like, yeah, CPI this morning, yeah. Yeah, that must have been fun for all the people that like to use their evaluations on the news and try to pass in the day. All right, so I'm just noticing that one of the charts I brought up just picked up a loss. I wasn't ready to trade yet. Here. It's not a trade I would have wanted to take if I saw it. So I'm going to have to find a new chart for that. This is an interesting area here because you've got the previous day high as well as the opening price lined up there. All right, I'm going to look for another chart here. I think you're done for the day already. Did you get some trades in? You start pre-market, I guess. Traded 10 PAs, nice. Hope they were all green. $470-ish per. Yeah, that's great. I'll take $470 per every day. would definitely be good enough for me to wrap up the day. Don't seem to be finding any other charts that I like. Now just lurking streams. Love it. All right. It's an interesting day. I find one chart and then I realize that there's another chart that I can't use either. Seems like it might be just one of those kind of oddball days for me here. All right, so I'm going to trade evaluation 29 first. All right, you have a good one. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, that's Sagi coming in saying good evening. Hey, Sagi, how are you today? All right, it's a pretty wild day. Just up and down. These are big moves. And from the time I got on the chart, we're up 112 points. Straight up. I'm just waiting for something to set up here. So I'm just going to try to wake myself up here and be ready for the next entry. Gary says these moves are retarded big. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's interesting because this on the way up is a mirror of this on the way down in a way, the opposite direction. But yeah, this is just wild, off the news, I guess. Gary, what time do you start trading? Wrong side is an account killer. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I never trade the news. That's why I don't even bother starting till, close to 7, because sometimes there's even news right at 7, and I'll just wait. Head and shoulder occurring. Yeah, shoulder here, head, maybe shoulder here. Although this could have been the shoulder here. It already happened, and now this is something new. I don't know. I guess big picture could be shoulder, like double head and shoulder. Trade 2 times around 7 Eastern, and the open, both opens. Yeah, got it. Well, it's nice to be at a point with your accounts that you could be done right now. Good job. If I had your P&L today, I'd definitely be done trading. Because typically I'm only getting between 100 and like 200-ish a day on each account, on my green accounts. I just kind of do the one and done for each account right now. Took another stupid trade. Need to close the broker down. Yeah, that's the problem. If you already hit your target and you're still watching, it's hard not to get sucked into a trade if you're still watching the chart. Definitely better to just watch a streamer at that point and watch their chart and not be tempted in. That used to happen to me on good days. But now that I have this rule that, I can take 8 trades and have 1 trade per account. Once I have each account traded, that's where I would end the day, if I get that far. Most days I don't seem to get that far. Yeah, trading's tricky because you want to make the money, but then when you're done, you're like, well, I had planned more of my day for trading, leaving it more open. So it's hard to feel like you're done if you're done before you thought you'd be. So yeah, this is an interesting area if this is getting rejected here. So this is like an area where if there were to be first entry long, second entry long right here, like above this bar, it'd be going right into the previous day high and the open. So it's not a trade I will take if that happens right now. It's one of my only rules now. I don't have many rules for my entries, but that's one of them. So I'll see if this works here. I think it's likely to get rejected, but I also do still think that we should get a retest of the high at some point. So it looks like this was actually triggered on 3 charts too. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to lose 3 charts right now. So it should work because I don't want to lose 3 charts. But I can't take it going right into that level. Okay, so it did work. So my new rule keeps me out of one winning trade today. But I've just so many times seen, when I take an entry that's like going right into these levels where it just gets rejected. So I had to implement that new rule because that was like a lot of my recent losses into levels like that. So I'm just going to have to live with it working and not taking it. But I am actually glad it worked because if I were to lose 3 of my charts right now, this might have become a very short trading day for me. Saggy says he took the first loss of the day. What was your trade, Saggy? Sorry to hear that, man. Losses are never fun. But I do really believe that like being able to cope with a loss and not start doing anything drastic afterwards is super important. Be able to accept the loss and just move on to the next trade. Easier said than done. It's a skill to be able to do that, Gary says. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. As a new trader, it's like next to impossible to be able to trade that way. Unless you're like really new, where you just think like you're just going to always win, because also a lot of new traders feel that way. And so even when they get the loss, they're super confident that they're just going to win the next one. But then when you get hit enough times and you feel the sting of the loss enough times and blow up enough accounts or whatever, lose enough money one way or the other, then it starts to really have an effect. So here again, is another potential second entry setting up right into the opening price, and it's going to be above maybe. I actually tried to click an order into this because it closed above, but I did it too late. I like this better than the last one I saw because it's above the opening price and above the previous day high. So to kind of use it as support here, it's kind of like a double test. I would have tried to take that. We'll see if it would be good or not. Gary says, then you experienced the snowball effect for the first time and are devastated. Yeah, right. You get a loss and then another one. They start piling up. Saggy, today my account might go into liquidation mode. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah. It's tough to go through that, but it's also important to be able to like get to a place where it doesn't ruin your day and you don't beat yourself up over it, and you get to a place where, you react to the losses in very much the same way as you react to the wins, where you just kind of say, okay, that one worked. Okay, that one didn't work. And you just kind of move on and try to figure out if there was anything to avoid that you could have stayed out of a loss potentially. Just watching this here. Definitely stacking up. I definitely expect this trade to ultimately work. It hasn't done it yet, but I expect at the very least to reach these highs at a key level here. Guess I'm a little slow today that I didn't get myself in this trade. It seems like it wants to get rejected here, but I'd be really surprised. To me, I think the head and shoulders was this shoulder, head, shoulder. And then this is, it already played out because it already went the neckline distance down. So I think this is something new, in my own opinion. Saggy says I set my daily loss limit to 250 a day. If I hit that, I'm done for the day. I see. And that saves your account if you hit it today. I don't give myself a daily loss limit. It's actually one of the reasons why I like Apex better than the rules for a lot. Here it goes. Better than the rules for a lot of the other ones, other prop firms, because a lot of them do give you a daily loss limit. But I'd almost rather be able to, depending on how I'm trading, but I'd rather have the option of doing what you're doing, Saggy, and like doing my own daily loss limit or being able to do whatever I want. So, but it's interesting that you've given yourself one, but you're not with or maybe you are. Forget which prop firm you said you use, but I know some of the prop firms have a daily loss limit, but 250 would be less than what theirs are. All right, so this trade would have worked ultimately, like I thought it would. click the button, but I just waited too long because this bar was like, it wasn't clear whether it was going to close right at the lines or below it or right above it. And then right at the end of the bar, it closed above, and it ticked above like immediately. So I didn't have enough time to like make sure that this bar was above the open price and the previous day high before I could enter. Top Step, right? Top Step has a daily loss limit, right? I've never used them, but I think I remember they have a daily loss limit. But it's definitely not 250. It's bigger. Yeah. I've got my monitor on my daughter, and she's not feeling well, so it looks like she just woke up. Gary says depends on the account size. 50K is 1,000, 150K is 3,000. Saggy says the same thing. 50,000 daily loss is 1K, but I set daily loss to 250 to be in the game. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The way I'm trading, it's like my daily loss limit is the one trade per account. So it's win or loss, whatever that is. That's my daily my daily profit and daily loss limits. All right, so not a whole lot of entries since I've been on. And it'll be interesting when we get up here because the structure leads me to believe that we very well could break out and go higher today. That just depends on what happens when we get the retest of the high. I wouldn't be surprised. To do something like that. Or it could get rejected somewhere up here and just become a big giant range day. I was looking on the 20th, I think this account 26 gets renewed and reset. 27 also is the renewal date, I think. And then I think it's like account 33 on the 19th, maybe. Saggy says near today's high. Yep, I definitely expect it to touch it again. I was expecting that down here even. And Gary says YOLO. Just kidding. Yeah, my YOLO days are long gone. Unless there's an account that's like just, if this account is going to come up for renewal at some point and be down here, I'll YOLO it just because I'd rather it reset if I don't pass it. That touches exactly where you drew your line. Are you talking about this green dotted line? Because I don't draw that. That's just an indicator. I have an indicator that shows the highs of the day. The red dotted line on the bottom shows the lows of the day. But yeah, I'm expecting it at the very least to touch it, if not break out and go all the way up here. Getting some lag. All right, so we'll see what happens here. Switching charts. Yeah, it looks like it's going to break out like I was thinking. Just switching around some different charts to just see if anything sets up. Seems like this thing's just going to keep going now. Gary says, no, the uptrend and level off. Here. I drew this after the fact, if that's what you're talking about. This is just my measured move tool. So I drew this after this was already formed. And it's really just to get the length for the target up here. So Gary says it's a beast. I always think it can't do this or that, but then Q does whatever it wants. There's no stopping it. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like looking to see if there would be some kind of resistance once it reached the high again, in case that could have been a first entry, second entry, but now that's above it, I won't take that. So I'm going to wait and see if it can reach this level and then see what happens. I'm actually going to step away for just a minute. I'll be right back. All right, just getting back. Saggy said he should create Discord to connect traders. What do you think, Gary? Gary says, like it. Discord is good for going back. It's hard to reference this chat ever again. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably do something at some point. Let's see here. So it's working up towards my target. Now, this chart is burned. There's a first entry short, second entry short that wouldn't have worked for my target. So if I were to take this, it would have been a loss. I wouldn't have taken it because to me it would be going right into the overnight high that it just broke out of. So if it had formed like right at it, I would have taken it as resistance, but not right above it. That's one of the new rules I put in place. So that would have saved me. I wasn't sitting here when that happened. But my new rule would have saved me from a loss here. So where it kept me out of a trade here on another chart and where I missed it on this one because I was wary of this area, it would have saved me from a loss here, but I wasn't sitting here anyway. So I'm going to stop looking at this chart. Now on different chart, there is a similar kind of situation. Here's the new low, first entry short, second entry short below the inside bar would have worked for the amount of scalp I would go for. So kind of a weird looking one because it's an inside bar. It would have worked. I wouldn't have taken this one either. And then there's another chart where it's kind of the same thing as the last thing I showed. Which one is it? Yeah, here, underneath this bar. So first entry short, second entry short. Wouldn't have gone enough for my profit target here. So 2 charts, 3 charts, 3 charts that, what is it? Let me see. No, 2 charts. 2 charts that I can't trade off of anymore when I walked away. So what to do? I have a feeling it's just going to be one of those days for me. Just seems to be the way it's going here. Saggy says, first time I seen this, it's been an hour and you didn't take a signal entry. 250 point move in the last hour. Yeah, I mean, this thing is just shot straight up, right? and there haven't been a lot of opportunities. So I'm still expecting it to get a little bit higher according to a measured move. But yeah, it's just kind of an unusual day. I could tell kind of when I started, like these big moves, it's like I could just tell that was going to be a day where, it might be a tougher day for me to get trades. I mean, there's been trades. I definitely could have taken at least one on two different charts back to back. But again, because of my new rule around these key areas of opening price, previous day highs, I just wanted to stick to my rule today on that. So before I was trading with like absolutely no entry rules, so I would have taken the trades that happened around here on those charts without thinking about it. And now I'm down to two charts. So I've got to decide, or I've got to, I guess, look and see if I'm going to be able to find other charts to trade with. So this one's a possibility of trading with. It's got one loss in the overnight, but all the rest entries have been working. Just continuing to look for more charts. On days like today, I mean, when you have these like strong push-ups, a lot of the entries will be counter trend. And so you just got to be careful where you're willing to take a counter trend or not. But I could tell, I mean, with this strong leg up and the way it was breaking through this resistance level, I could tell that there's probably going to be another leg there, So that's why I was like wary of taking any second entry shorts above the previous high of the day. And that's why I was like willing to walk away at that time, just because I didn't want to get myself trapped. And two of my charts would have lost, and two of them would have won. So it was definitely a good area to say, hey, I'm not interested in taking something up here. Counter trend. Just putting this measured move on a couple of these charts so I can see when it's hit, depending on which chart I'm on. Saggy says, big move consolidation, big move happening. Rally, base rally, yeah. Seems like I may be just really down to two charts. So it'll be interesting to see if this turns into the first day where I don't have a trade in a really long time. Also, because my daughter is going to be homesick today. So once she does get up, she'll likely want to see me, and then my wife will get ready to go to work. So it'll just be me with her. So I'll probably have to stop maybe a little bit earlier than typical. All right, so this chart has all entries that are winners except for like one right over here, which doesn't even count really. It doesn't even make any sense because it's going off of from the previous session. So I consider it all winners. It looks like we just touched, no, just shy of touching it. But for my purposes, this is basically like a measured move reached. So we got as high as approximately I was expecting, and then just have to see what happens from here. So how many charts do I have? Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3 charts. So I'll just go with these, see if I get any trades, and see what happens first. If I could get some trades, lose some charts, get some losses, or my daughter wants to hang out. She's still in bed right now, so we'll see. So he says in the second half it might flush like happened last week. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible because the way I see it, 2 legs up, reached the measured move, had kind of a breakout. So it kind of depends what happens when it comes back and retests kind of this area, which is where the EMA is going to be approximately. So if it gets legs to keep going, or if it starts failing back in, it might be the kind of thing where it like fails back in, traps in the shorts, and then goes again. Seen that too. But I try not to speculate and like decide what it's going to do too much, because I don't want it to influence if I'm willing to take a trade that is counter to what I'm thinking. Because I do want to be able to take my entries just based on when they come, as long as they don't break any of my, very limited newer rules. Then I don't even care if it's counter trend or not what I think it's going to do, as long as I think it can give me, as long as I think it can move enough for my profit target for my scalp. So that can happen, this thing could be expecting another leg up, which I wouldn't be surprised, by the way. A lot of times when there's 2 legs up that are well defined, a lot of times there'll be a 3rd leg up to make a new high, and then something can change from there. So just because it reached this measured move doesn't mean my bias is now like down from it. But it's interesting how, it gets just almost basically there and then starts turning away. I mean, I see that happen so many times. Gary's heading to lunch. He'll be back in a while. Cool, Gary. Have a good lunch. Yeah, I'm an hour into my stream with no trades. Very unusual. But when I look at the chart, I understand why. I mean, literally, I started at 655-ish, I think, right around here. And it just shot through the EMA, and it's just been in one direction. So the only possible trade I had was the one that set up right around here on that other chart. Anything else would have been counter trend. And nothing was counter trend in an area where I would have taken it. Saggy's also going to have dinner in 20 minutes. Cool. Well, most likely I'll be here unless my daughter wants me to hang out with her. Then I may end the stream early, but she's still in bed now, so maybe she'll decide to go back to sleep if she's not feeling well. Oh, what account am I supposed to be trading? I turned it off when I walked away because I always turn off the copier. 29. All right. I gotta rearm that. Never did that when I came back. 29. Should visit doc. Yeah, we brought her to the doctor yesterday. $75 tick bar. I was hesitant to take this 75 ticks. Again, second time today, I pushed the order in, but it must have happened right at the same time as the trigger, so I didn't get in. Waiting to touch 18,300 again, so I can buy that. Yeah, I almost very close to buying this right here just for my scalp. It would have worked. You're talking about 18,300. You're talking about down here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to get down that low before. Well, we'll see. I don't like to predict the market because I don't know. I really don't. Could do anything. I'm half expecting another leg up to make a new high, retest this high, maybe go a little bit further, and then see what happens from there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'll take this off since it was already reached. Saggy says, same. I'm also waiting to form double top and flush to 18.3. Yeah. Yeah, if there's like a double top over here, very well can just go down from there. But it's interesting because the news was immediately strong and pushed up. And then, like it does typically after the news hits, it took it all back and some, right? But then this seems to be a continuation of what the news was earlier in the day. Once it took it all back, then the market was, on rocket fuel to the moon. So, to me, it seems like a bullish day in general because of that. Let's look at the daily. So daily's interesting. All right, my measured move is a little bit weird now because of the rollover contract. So new contract. I mean, look at that. Another measured move. Hit it almost exactly. So, all-time highs. Got the EMA that's been supporting price the whole way up. So, in the big picture, there's not really much of a indication yet that anything's turning to the downside. And it's election year. Never bet against the market. This thing could just want to keep going up and up higher than the measured move. Let's see. Saggy says every day I enter that one trade which hits 80 to 100 point target, but I exit early. Need to learn how to hold trade. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely talking to the wrong guy when it comes to that because I don't hold trades for anything. I'm in and out. And the reason I like to trade that way is because, the days where you try to hold the trade, days when I would try to hold a trade, it would just be a zigzaggy mess that would end up, you'd be up $1,000 and the next thing you know, you'd give it all back. It'd come right back down because you're trying to go for a bigger target. And then the days where you don't do that and you take it off, that's the day that it goes all the way, right? Like what you're saying. So I just haven't figured out how to trade like that. It's more of like a swing trading style. So that's why I scalp. I just try to get in and out. Having dinner on stream. Cool. Enjoy your dinner. I am just not feeling the price action today. Not feeling the price action, not feeling my charts. So not a lot of action going on here. You got more action going on at your dinner table than I've got going on in my trading. you saying, Saggy? Low volume on the green candle, high volume on the red candle. Took 4 trades today. First loss, second break even, third profit, fourth break even, net break even for the day. I mean, I'm up $15. From the last 3 days, I've been hitting break even days. I mean, that's all right. To me, a break even day is a winning day. The only time I think a day is negative is when you're negative. But break-even days are better than most most traders. Most traders, if they trade, they're having losing days. So a break-even day is a win. The market's gone really slow. I mean, you can see from when it hit the all-time highs to now, it's already been 22 minutes. Or not the all-time highs, but the high of the day. 22 minutes. And it's just been going sideways. I mean, Sagi, you're talking to a guy that not too many months ago was getting like 2 or 3 trades a week. So I'm not a stranger to days where I have no trades, or days where I only have like 1 trade. So what you've been seeing from me recently since you started watching is way more trades than I used to get. So if I have the occasional day like today where I don't take a trade, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Because I used to have these days 3 days a week. And now it's the first time I'm having a day like this in a long time. So yeah, at least break-even days helps me, doesn't let my brain get volatile. Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's a certain amount of like eagerness to make money and have big days. And so when you have a day that's kind of break even or not much action, makes you like want to think like, oh, I want to get more trades, be more aggressive. But at the same time, a day like that is better than the days where you finish the day red and, just having a lot of conflict in your mind about what you're doing and how you're trading and what mistakes you made and all that stuff. Better just be chill, take it as it comes and not be too eager for anything, any which way. Trying to make double top. Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm interested to see if it's just gonna make a new high, test it, and then if it will start selling off, or it's entirely possible it'll just stay in a range up here in this kind of area for some time. See that happen a lot too, where it seems like it's going to sell off, but then it finds kind of like a support area here and then kind of stays in a tight zone. So but these are definitely the kinds of days. I mean, when I've seen these days, these are the days where from my system, I'll get the least amount of trades. It's just pushing up and the pullbacks are very mild. Every pullback is, like this pullback here. It's very kind of rangy. If it didn't happen to coincide with previous day high in the opening price line, I would have had one trade there. All the other setups would be counter trend. I wouldn't have taken those in this on a day like today. And this thing just has continued to push up. I actually missed a trade here. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed this. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I could have taken this trade. Unsure why I didn't. This is the first time I'm noticing it. So in theory, that's probably the first legitimate trade I could have taken actually, but I didn't see it. First entry. I probably thought first entry, second entry here, which I wasn't going to take that. That didn't look right to me. But I think it's first entry. It never ticked below again. It's second entry here. So that could have been a trade for me. How big is this bar? Oh, it's only 98 ticks. How big is this bar? 74. So probably it engulfed. So, and it's a little bit lower. So it's probably about 90 ticks, maybe. Too big. Too big anyway. Yeah, no volume. This market's just completely slowed down. It got up to these highs, and I know it wants to retouch it. It wants to retouch these highs, and then no idea. No idea at that point. I mean, it's got room. It's got room to keep going on the daily. So just hard to say. I mean, it's, is it going to reach all-time highs again ultimately? No idea. I'm not betting against it. But yeah, this thing is just moving at a crawl. And just very hard to get any entries when it's like this. All right, so here comes the test. All right, just gonna push, or is this gonna be the end of it? Like I said, I really wouldn't be surprised if it pushes and makes a third leg up. So first leg here, there's a second leg, and then a third leg that could be potentially even as big as the first leg. So it's crazy to think about, but I've seen that before. All the way up there, 18,550. Whether it gets there today, I mean, who knows? Or it might make an attempt and get partway there and then turn around. But just not going to see setups in this kind of a market for the way I trade. So I'm just relaxing, waiting to see if the market will change to start giving some better options of trades I can take. But I'm definitely not taking a counter trend trade right here. First entry, if it goes below a bar here, it would be a second entry. Tempting, but I'm not taking a counter trend trade on this kind of market. This is the kind of trade that traps people in, that takes second entries, and then it just continues to rocket. It's hard to tell, but this was triggered. This was triggered here. So anyone that takes second entries and enters with stop market orders, they're in the trade. Let's see if it works. So if this ticks above this bar, that means there's a losing entry on this chart, and I'll stop looking at it. And I'm not going to look for more charts anymore at this point. So as these charts drop off, if they drop off, that'll signal the end of my day eventually, if that's how it goes down. I mean, this thing seems like it won't give up the bag, but I fully expect this short to fail. Just the way every time it goes down, it fights its way back up. So this will be a loss that I avoided, it seems like. Still time for it to work out, but this is like these are the days where it's good for me to recognize, like, okay, These are the days where the losses come, even on good charts, if you're trading long enough. Still wouldn't be stopped out yet. Here it comes. So I fully expect that these shorts are trapped. I expect them to get taken out and then this thing to continue, but we will see. It's turning down. Yep. So it looks like it would have ultimately ended up working. I'm actually surprised. This is where I see for my system, I'll get a lot of losses. I mean, it was after a new high, but this is definitely an area where if I'm taking every entry, this is like a likely suspect for a loss here. There's a small bar too, 43 ticks. That's not bad. But yeah, definitely just don't like these kinds of days for my system. The silence before the big move down. Yeah, it could be. I mean, once we got the retest of the highs, anything can happen at that point, as far as I'm concerned. I really was expecting it to tick above here and potentially go higher. Try to stick around a little longer to see if something can happen and set up that I can take. But the way that the day is set up here, I don't know. I don't feel very confident about taking anything on a day like this. At least I haven't yet so far, clearly. Because it's one of those days where it could either just continue to keep going up or it can have just a brutal sell-off. And Saggy says maybe fake moves to the upside because volume showing different picture. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow volume, but yeah, it's just unclear to me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for it to keep going up, but I just really don't know. Saggy says flush, flush, flush. I don't know that it's going to flush. I really don't. I'm not sure. I'm definitely very hesitant to do anything because I really don't feel like I really don't feel confident about anything at the moment. I'm not ready to bet against the market. That's all I can really say. Not really ready to bet against it. So I think this market could still have legs to run. I think all, Sagi says, maybe an average customer of a psychologist or traders. Good night, brother. Be here tomorrow. Take care of your little princess. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Hopefully she'll be feeling better later today. But yeah, probably all traders need a psychologist. It's probably true. But yeah, have a good one. And, be happy with your break-even day. If that's where you left off, there's nothing wrong with a break-even day. Break-even is always better than a losing day. So sleep well, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. Looks like here comes your flush, Sagi, if you're still here. You're up $100 now. Flush, flush, flush. Right on. All right, so this was the second entry here. This ticked up right here is the first entry, second entry above this signal bar. triggered wouldn't have worked. So this is a losing entry on this chart. I definitely wasn't confident to take long here, even though there was some support. I just knew that we had made a high and then retested, made a new high, and we're selling off of it. So it wasn't an area I wanted to go long using my analysis. And considering the kind of day it is, I just was wary of these sorts of setups. So I was wary going short, I was wary going long. It's kind of in a no trade zone up here for me. That happened on two charts. That happened on this chart, and that also happened on this chart. Same idea. First entry, second entry above this inside bar, failed, would have lost. So that leaves me with one chart. Leaves me with this chart. And my daughter's up now. She's not feeling well. So I'm likely to end very soon. Because I'm not trusting the price action. These are the days, right? I mean, just from observing my strategy for the 2.5 months almost that I've been doing it. These are the days where my strategy does struggle, and these are the days where I could just pick up a loss multiple times on different charts, just getting in at the wrong time. I mean, it's a little ironic that there were a number of trades I could have taken on all of these charts today. But if I was taking every trade, I would have already had some losers. I mean, if I was here for them. So for as many as I would have won, I definitely would have had one or two losers, I think, too. So, considering my strategy, there's an argument to be made that I should have just still been taking virtually every trade, because the wins could have landed in some important areas and the losses could potentially get absorbed. But I don't know. Today's the kind of day, like I could have had this could have been the third loss, I think. So that means 3 accounts could have had losses, while I would have had maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. Could have been like a 4 and 3 day, maybe. But I'm not looking for 4 and 3 days, so I'd rather be flat than 4 and 3, honestly. I don't, this strategy, for me, I should be 80% and higher. That's my theory. And I mean, I think there's times, there's weeks where I could be 90%. So I feel like I should be mid 80s, but I'm only at the bottom end of 80% right now overall. So it's because of days like this, the day I had last week where I was 3 and 4. I think I do have to use some of my intuition to keep me out of trades or days where the losses come. And this was an example of it. I mean, it's just, if I'm taking every entry, I have to take it. But my better sense tells me not a great area. And, now I wouldn't be surprised if, they got taken out and the shorts piled in, and now it goes back higher again. So trap the longs, trap the shorts, and go higher. But again, it's just the kind of day I just feel like I want to stay out of it. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to wrap it up and call it a day. Because even the one chart that I have, I don't love this chart. Even though every entry's worked, I just don't love the price action. So I don't know. I'm thinking I got one chart. I could just watch it and see what happens. If it starts to sell off, maybe it'll give me an entry to go short. My instinct says it's probably still going higher. And that's why I have a little bit of a conflict about what I want to do right now. But I guess it makes it easy. I've got one chart, so I don't have to look at multiple entries and decide what I'm thinking. This chart didn't have like the second entry down here, because technically there's a first entry here, and technically there's a second entry above this bar, which technically would have worked for the profit target, even though that looks like a terrible trade, but it would have worked. So there was no second entry down here. So now I'm just waiting to see, is this thing going to get stuck, or is this thing now going on to make more highs? I think it's probably going on to make more highs, honestly, because I do think what I just talked about it is what happened. I think the longs got trapped. Any longs that were entering here, if they put their stops there, they got taken out. The shorts were piling in, and now the shorts are trapped, and it's going to go up. That's obviously all a guess, because I can't tell the future and I have no idea what the market's going to do. Gary's back. Hey, Gary. Yeah, not much going on for me today. No trades. This price action just isn't it for me. Not a lot of opportunities. Most of the entries were counter trend, and the entries with the trend were not in the great spots for me. So yeah, no, didn't miss anything as far as my trading goes. The market, once it reached these highs, just kind of like basically went sideways, made new highs. A little bit of a sell-off, I think, to lure the shorts in, and then I think this thing's still going to go higher, but maybe it's just going sideways. Yeah. Maybe we're just going to end up in a range. I really have no idea, but I'm just not seeing any entries I want to take. I'm also, I have one chart that I can trade off of left. I'm not going to start digging around looking for other entries. We are getting to the time where I like to cut off my trading. So today's very well going to end up being a no trade day for me, which I haven't had one of those in quite some time that I can remember, other than like the day where Rhythmic was down in the morning and I just decided not to trade that day. So yeah, I'll probably give it 10 or 15 minutes to just see if anything develops that might look interesting on this one chart. And if not, then I'll be calling it a day soon, and looking forward to another day tomorrow. Hopefully with price action that suits my strategy a little bit better. And see, today's the 12th. I mean, we're trading days until the payout window. I mean, not that I'm so close to a payout, but the next payout window is in it's the 15th through the 20th. So 3 more days until the first day of the payout window. And then you have 3, 4, 5, 6 days of trading before the payout window closes. And I'm a little more than 1,100 away. So even if I was getting 200 a day, that would be 6 days. So I would need one win for $200 a day. Is that right? Yeah. One win for $200 a day for 6 days to have a chance to get a payout in the next window for my 50K account. So definitely on the outside of possibilities. It's possible, but not likely. So now I'm already looking at April 1st through 5th as probably the first payout window I might be able to hit if I'm lucky. Gary says, no big deal, just do you, payouts will come. Yeah, as you know, it's just been on my mind. Also, the end of this month is 1 year on Apex for me. Like March 30th or something is the 1 year anniversary of trading Apex. Granted, I was trading a whole different style for most of it. And I was trading ES for most of that time. And I was trading these accounts completely differently for most of that time. So, in a sense, I've only been trading Apex the way I'm currently trading for 2 months. So it hasn't been bad in those 2 months. Nice. Do you have any accounts that are 1 year old? No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, this account, PA2, I actually attained it in July, but I didn't trade it. I had 5 PAs I got relatively close together. And so I traded number 1, 3, 4, and 5 last year. And I always just, for whatever reason, kept number PA2 as a backup. In case everything went wrong, I would still be in the PA game. And so, as you can see, I eventually blew up 1, 3, 4, and 5, and 2 stayed healthy because I didn't touch it. So I only just first started trading PA2 the day after Christmas, after I blew up those other accounts. And so, so PA2 is my longest account. I've had it since July, but I've been trading it since Christmas. And as you can see here, I've traded 28 days on it. 28 trading days. And the closest I've been on it to payout was within 600, a week ago, before the last loss I took on it. And I haven't had a trade on this account since I think I took my last loss on it, because the way I'm staggering randomly the accounts, it just hasn't come back to be played yet. And then these 2 PA accounts both were attained with my current system this year. And then I've got this account 31 that getting pretty close here, 250 away. If my math is good, 260. And or is it 360? I can't think. 360. So that's getting close to becoming a PA potentially. And then 27, about 1,000 away. So, I mean, ideally what I'd like to do is get a payout. I'll tell you my ideal situation since I've got time while this market is just moving out of crawl. My ideal situation is to get a payout on any one of these accounts, take a max payout, whether it's the 2,000 or the 1,500. Obviously the 2,000 is the closer one. Then if I were to get the 2,000, I would be break even for my Apex trading. If that happens anytime in the next few weeks. And then I would like to add this PA and this PA. So then I'd be at 5 PAs, but I might lose number 2 because when I take the max payout, I only have 500, 600, 700 in drawdown, something like that, most likely. And So I'll either have 4 or 5 PAs depending on what happens with that. Then I'll have, whatever amount of PAs it is, 4 or 5, that I can be rotating the accounts. And then ideally one more of those would hit for a payout. And then at that point I'd be in profit. And then I can start playing my evaluations more aggressively. And then at that point, once I'm playing with the house's money, then I'd play all of my evaluations aggressively, and I'd play all of my PAs the same exact way that I'm playing them now. And then hope that that process continues, so that payouts continue to come, passing evaluations continues to happen, and I'll just at that point be into it, and hopefully, because I'm able to be a little bit more aggressive, starting with the evaluations, eventually I'll get enough payouts where I can start being more aggressive with the PAs too. That would be my ideal situation. Nothing ever works out the way I think ideally I'd like it to. So, but yeah, that's kind of my hope and goal, is to first get break even, get my money back in my pocket, because I'm in for 2,000 almost right now, and then manage to somehow get ahead of the game with one extra payout, get me a little bit profitable. It will pay for the rest of the fees coming up, whatever PA fees might come up, and then from that point, any payouts beyond that, I should just be able to stay in profits, and hopefully be able to build more accounts and then make it a more regular payout situation. Right, so this is starting to look like maybe it really is going to roll over. This is kind of a key area here. And the fact that we weren't able to get back up to the highs here. We've got the head and shoulders pattern happening. So this is really a key area here, whether this neckline is going to break or whether it's going to hold and go back up. I don't trade the head and shoulders, but I definitely recognize the pattern, just like Gary, I think it was, mentioned it earlier. So I'm always aware of it when it's happening, because those are definitely usually signs on such a bull market. Those are signs of a roll-off potentially going to happen. But also, if it doesn't roll off from here, it's also a sign that like the market's going to stay strong and continue to go higher. So it's always a key area to watch. Gary, I think you said you had 10 PAs. Are you, how are you trading them? Are you copy trading in like groups, or what are you doing with those? Looks like we have 4 viewers right now. Welcome, anybody, if you haven't been here before. Very non-active day for me. I've got no trades. Not very exciting around here for me today. But that's okay, because right now I'm just aiming for about 20 trades a week is kind of my goal for each week as they go by. And I've got 4 trades already this week, so from yesterday. So I'm still on pace for 20 trades, no matter what happens today, the way I've been trading. But today it just when I started, this thing just was rocketing up the whole time. So not a lot of opportunities for me. Definitely some trades I could have taken that would have worked, but there's also some trades I could have taken counter trend that would have failed. So Gary says, yeah, copy trade right now. They were passed in blocks of 5. So when one block gets to pay out, I only trade the other 5 until days are met. Then start trading all again once payout approved. So I always have some to trade. Yeah, I like that plan. I mean, ultimately, that's what I want to work up to, is trading kind of in a similar way as that. I'm still just trying to prove out the strategy that I'm trading and see that I can be consistent. So the 80%, the 80% over here is good. Good sign for 158 trades. I'd like it to be a little bit higher, but 80% at least should get me to a point where I could get some payouts and stuff. Eventually, it'll just be slower that way. If I was more towards 85 and higher, I think the payouts could happen quicker just because I'm staggering them. So, but 20 trades a week, 8 accounts. And, if I'm spreading them out, that means I'm only getting, maybe 2 trades a week on average on each account. So, I know going in trading that way, it's a slower process. I mean, I'm picking the accounts randomly, especially now. Now I'm using that wheel. I haven't had any opportunity to use it today other than when I first started this morning. But now that I'm using this wheel to pick which accounts I trade, obviously the randomness makes it so I could trade one account more than 2 times a week. But, with the math, on average, I'm only trading each account twice a week. So let's see, Gary says, so I always have some to trade. Takes a lot of mental capacity to trade each individually and time. Yeah, I think time is really the thing that works against it right now. The mental capacity, I mean, the way I used to trade, I think that's true because I did a lot of analyzing. Today I probably have analyzed the most, which has kept me out of taking trades today just because of the nature of what the market was doing. But typically I don't do a lot of analyzing anymore because I'm just playing the overall chart. And I'm not really concerned about what the individual setup looks like. So for me, with this strategy, it's not as mentally taxing as it used to be. But definitely for most people and their strategies, I think there's a lot of analyzation. So yeah, if you're trading individually, it's really kind of a lot to try to trade 8 accounts or 10 accounts individually every day. Ultimately, I definitely want to get to the point where I'm trading in groups. I mean, as I get more and more accounts, and especially if and when I can get to a point where I've got my money back in my pocket, then I'll be more willing to risk, probably when I start grouping things together, 2 accounts at a time, and then eventually keep working up. Maybe I'll do 3 accounts at a time at some point, and then 4 accounts at a time, but that's like the long-term down the line goals. Hopefully by the time I'm even in a position to consider trading that way, hopefully Apex isn't making any changes to their 20 account rule. I don't think they would because I think that's their advantage in the space. And they know they'll piss off a lot of people that are diehard customers if they were to make that kind of a change. But just never know. With prop firms, anything could change at any point. So I'm just trying to focus on the here and now, do what I can, get better. The strategy is based on other kinds of strategies that are out there, but then has a unique spin on it. So right now I'm just in the phase of testing it, modifying it, seeing how I can use it better, as well as my risk management strategy of the accounts. And then I think I was talking about it yesterday. I think another couple months I'll kind of have a good idea whether trading the accounts individually is working out for me or not, or if I need to, at least be a little bit more aggressively in that maybe I could be taking a PA and trading it with an evaluation, copy trading at the same time, and at least trading 2 accounts at the same time if I'm not getting through enough accounts week by week, because it is a slow process right now. Gary says, for sure, I don't know if I'd be with them without the ability to have 20 accounts. Yeah. I mean, that to me, that's definitely the allure. And if you watch Alpine Trader, I mean, seeing how he's really made it work to his advantage. The 20 accounts, he'd never be making the kind of money he's making. And he's proved it and shown it because he trades other prop firms. And, he's taken out, maybe a few $1,000s from a handful of other prop firms, but he's made $100,000 in the first couple months here in 2024 from Apex just by having 20 accounts. And he's never taken out more than the max payout on any payout window per account. But because he's constantly having, 10 accounts or whatever it is at a time that he can get payouts on for each payout window, I mean, he's just crushing it, right? So that's the kind of, that's what I see as the possibilities that are out there. And it's just figuring out a strategy and working up to being able to pull that off. And I do everything kind of slow, and I'm very studious, and I just take my time and not rush things. The money would be great, and I need the money like anyone else, but I have to make it about the process first, and settling on something that I know I can count on that works over time in different market conditions, and then go from there. So first entry. So if it ticks above one of these bars here, it's going to be a second entry. Not a great looking setup. I still am thinking this market's going higher and it's trapping in shorts that are trying to pile in and take it shorter or take it lower. But it's already 9:15, just about. I haven't traded all day. It's been one of those markets I've just been wary of. Here, this is triggering right now. See if this works. But I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to wait and see if this would have worked and then get out of here. I'm down on one chart. I think it's going to work. It just has to get through the EMA. See what happens here. Also interesting because technically first entry short below here. So if this closes and ticks below, it'd be a second entry short too. But I definitely think my scalp would work here. See, it's getting close. Really close. I think one more tick or so would do it. I just don't see any reason for me to take a trade at this point when I've gone this long without a trade. And this is, all right. I think it just would have hit it. We've gone 4 points. So I would have just got my scalp. So, there were definitely some trades I could have taken today that would have been winners. There were definitely some trades that I could have taken today that could have been some losers. So the fact that I haven't traded this long and 9:15, every other chart has had an entry that hasn't worked at this point other than this chart. So, this one's bound to follow the rest. So no point in me taking that. No point in me continuing here. So I'm going to wrap it up. And it's like days like today. Do I even make a wrap-up video? What do I need a review video of? Took no trades today. Maybe I'll just post. I don't know. Anyway, Gary, thanks for joining me. Anyone else that's joined, thanks for joining. Not very interesting, fun, exciting day today, but be back at it tomorrow. So 0-0 today, 3 and 1 for the week, and lots of work to do. So hopefully better trading day for me tomorrow. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. 71% discount still going on. And the 3-day pass, I think, actually, I had my dates wrong. I think I've been saying the 14th. I think the 3-day pass and the 71% discount and the $35 reset is only good till the 13th, which is tomorrow. So that's why if you're buying evaluations today, they won't qualify for the 3-day pass because you only have 2 days till tomorrow to trade. So it's only pre-existing evaluations you have till tomorrow to pass it with 3 days traded. Any new evaluations bought today, we'll have to wait and see what they do when this current promo runs out tomorrow on the 13th. And other than that, like and subscribe. I know today wasn't very interesting, but like and subscribe if you want to see where I go with the strategy and with my accounts as I move forward here. And appreciate it. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.